Karl Anthony Mother effing Towns. That boy is not playing this series. He came out to show out. This man right now is showing you why he was #1 draft pick in 2015. Listen, I'll be the first one to say I did not think he would do it. I always said this man has the skills to pay the bills. You can check the last video. I said that I thought that he was going to be the key factor to the Knicks potentially winning. I had the Spurs winning in 5. I thought they had the talent and the skill set to do it. I thought they had the momentum coming off that Thunder series, defeating the previous NBA champs. However, I did say that Karl Anthony Towns, in order for the Knicks to win, he is the X factor. Not Jalen Brunson, not OG Anunoby, not any of the other players. They're all valuable players, but Karl Anthony Towns, the reason he was so important is because he's the X factor that can affect Wembanyama. On defense, Wembanyama plays free safety. He's gotten away with this for the last, few years, and, he has the skill set to do it. He's got the length. He's got a very quick jump in terms of he can recover quickly, laterally and vertically, which is a very dangerous combination for somebody with that kind of length. And he also has very good instincts, and his timing is fantastic. To get a player like that out of the paint, you got to have somebody who's a real threat to score, and somebody who has a real mindset to get his buckets and say, look, I'm not scared of driving. I'm not scared of shooting. I'm not scared of facilitating an offense. The problem that we saw, and this is really something that the Oklahoma City Thunder are going to have to talk about this summer with Chet Holmgren, with his development, is he ever going to get Wembanyama out of his head? Because right now it's clear that he lives rent-free. We're seeing what a big man who's going to challenge Wembanyama from outside and inside will do to a series. Because they're doing that, Wembanyama cannot play with full energy on offense. I see him passing out a lot more, settling for worse shots than he did versus OKC. Watching this series, this is definitely a masterclass on coaching as well. I think Mike Brown's done a very good job with the Knicks in terms of their offensive sets have looked a lot cleaner this year. Jalen Brunson gets a lot less touches with the ball, of course. A lot less touches, period, with the offense. He does not hold the ball as long. He's facilitating a little bit more. I think he's been shooting poorly. He's finishing well in the fourth quarter, but I think he's been shooting poorly, and the Knicks have played well in spite of his poor shooting performance. Karl Anthony Towns, if the series was to end today, it obviously doesn't have to two, but if it was to end today and they played 4 games and he played the way that, he's played in the first 2 and the last 2, he's the clear finals MVP. Now with the Knicks, I think that the thing we have to watch now for is what does the NBA really want? Because the NBA, they're going to have it successful both ways. If the New York Knicks win, that's going to be such a huge deal for the state of the Northeast, which is a huge powerhouse in terms of money in the country, in terms of just GDP and revenue coming in, eyeballs. The New York Knicks, they have a lot of fans in the Northeast and across the globe. Now, the problem with that is New York is going to do well regardless. If they lose, fans will show up. If they win, it's going to be even bigger. So it's a win-win if New York wins or loses. San Antonio, if they win, this could be huge because the NBA has been looking to crown a new king. They've really been looking for that next player to take the mantle from LeBron James, Steph Curry, these kind of guys. Who's up next? And I know they're very excited about Victor Wembanyama because he checks off a lot of boxes. He's European. He's from France. He's also somebody who has mixed heritage. When I say mixed heritage, respectfully, his mother is a different race from his father. So he checks off multiple boxes in terms of different demographics are not really going to have too much of an issue with him. He's a great player. On and off the court, you have no issues with him. I'm just talking about from a marketing standpoint, just from a money standpoint. He checks off a lot of boxes. I know that the NBA is probably, just salivating at the opportunity to give this man a few awards like Finals MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, just an all-around fantastic year, similar to what Shai Gilgeous-Alexander had last year. Jokic, the year that he won, he didn't win MVP, but he won MVP the years prior and after. So, the NBA, they definitely want to crown a new king, a new dominant force. Jokic and Giannis, they were very good for a number of years, but they're really looking for somebody to take the mantle who's much younger than LeBron, much younger than Curry, who they can say is the new king of the NBA or face of the league for the next 10 plus years. They always talk about this nonsense. So I bring this up because we have to watch out for any potential manipulation or funny business with these referees. I don't know if they're going to try to get San Antonio and the Midwest with the viewing audience over there, trying to keep them captivated and keep them involved and watching late in the year. I don't know if they're going to try and push for a game 6 or 7. I'm sure they would love it, but we definitely have to watch for some calls. There were some funny calls in game 2, especially that Mitchell Robinson call. That was an interesting one because Wembanyama was pushing that man. He extended the arms. They called it on Robinson. They didn't call it on Wembanyama, and then they ended up rescinding the foul after the game. Usually when they do that, I mean, it's clear as day that they made a mistake, and they have to do something about it to make it look somewhat legitimate. The other thing I wanted to say is everybody who has commentary about De'Aaron Fox and his play, talking about Harper, should be taking his minutes, all that. I'm one of the biggest guys who said that Dylan Harper is going to be a beast, and he has proven to be such. I thought Cooper Flagg and Con Knuppel, those guys definitely were Rookie of the Year candidates. I thought Con should have won it. I wasn't mad with Cooper winning it. But personally, I thought Dylan Harper was the best player in this last year's draft. I'm impressed at how easy it is for him to get to the cup. He sees the floor well. His balance is very good. Excellent balance in terms of shifting his weight, getting around corners, and creating. Once he gets a consistent jump shot, I think he's going to be much better than like even these Thompson twin guys and all that stuff that everybody keeps raving about. I think he's going to be better than them. The Spurs, they have a problem, not with the guards, because De'Aaron Fox is a good player. If you watch him on the court, he fills lanes well. He creates well. He finishes at the cup. He can shoot from outside a lot more consistently than Dylan Harper, which creates more space for Wemby to work, guys to work underneath and inside the paint. So definitely you cannot, just take Harper and start him over Fox. Even though he's playing fantastic, you still have to keep Fox out there. He's a calming veteran presence on the team. He made a few mistakes in the Thunder series, but also, he's been playing pretty well this series so far, especially last game. I'm watching the Spurs. They have a Wembanyama problem in the sense of they rely on him way too much. Their defensive sets, they're basically just trying to funnel people to Wembanyama, and he just plays free safety back there and picks everything off. He just cleans up a lot of their messes. So these guys are getting beat on closeouts. They're not chopping their feet properly. They're getting beat in the post. They're getting beat just multiple different areas. These Spurs defenders are not as good as they looked against the Thunder, because the Thunder were basically playing, people want to say, 5-on-8 because the refs helping the Thunder out. I mean, if you want to go that route, you can make jokes like that. But in all seriousness, the Spurs were actually playing like 5-on-4 because Chet Holmgren, this series is exposing just how much of a non-factor he was in the previous series. Karl-Anthony Towns, he's not dominating Wembanyama by making him look absolutely silly. It's just that everybody usually struggles so much against Wembanyama, and Karl-Anthony Towns is having legitimate success that it looks like he's dominating him. But really, I mean, watching the game, yeah, he's playing very well, but it's not like this is just an ass whooping. This is, just two good players going at it, and Wembanyama is facing a veteran who is a former number 1 draft pick, all-star. Karl-Anthony Towns, between him and Dirk Nowitzki, they're probably the best shooting big men in history. I think Dirk is a little bit better of a shooter, but numbers-wise, Karl-Anthony Towns has a claim to he has a fight. He has a legitimate claim to that. Claim. Oh my gosh, I need to go back to school. It's embarrassing. But in all seriousness, I think the Knicks are most likely going to close this thing out, probably in 5 or 6. I think the NBA wants to push for the Spurs to be the next big team. I don't think this is their year. I thought they were ready based on last series. I didn't think Karl-Anthony Towns was going to do it. Past performance usually dictates future performance. However, Karl-Anthony Towns, he's showing that, there's more to him than what we've seen in the past. Karl-Anthony, for sure. All that stuff. In all seriousness, we got to give Bodega KAT his props, man. He's definitely turned it around. I was talking to my brother, and he had a good point. Since KAT was on the trade block, to go for homeboy over there in Milwaukee, Giannis, ever since he was on the trade block for Giannis, all of a sudden he's picked up his play defensively. He's rotating his feet. He's playing a lot better on both sides of the ball. So hats off to Karl-Anthony Towns. He stepped it up. We'll see what they do. They're going back to the Garden. If the Knicks can't close in the Garden, it's going to be disappointing because the NBA is definitely going to pull some funny stuff in San Antonio, most likely. But we'll see. I'm not a fan of either team. Really, I'm not a fan of any team. There's a team that I support. I won't say which, but definitely, this is an interesting series. So far, each game has been pretty tight, pretty contested, and this is good because we're seeing new faces. I do think the NBA would do a lot better once a certain team, whoever it is, San Antonio, OKC, New York, whoever, if somebody could actually win a back-to-back, or even potentially, be on the verge for a three-peat, that's really going to be a villain team in the league, and it's going to draw more eyes to the game. But I do like what they've done so far in these finals with the presentation. The presentation has been very crisp this year, a lot better than the last 2 years. They've stepped it up. So shout out to them for that. And we'll see. Game 3, Game 4, this should be interesting. Jalen Brunson, he needs to take a few, probably about 3 to 4 less shots each game. He's taking like 15 to 20 or so. Last time I saw he's like 30-something%, low 40%, which isn't horrible considering that everybody else is playing well. But, thank God for him. Everybody else is knocking their shots down and playing decent ball. Mikal Bridges defensively has been doing his thing. OG Anunoby, he's been taking it to Wembanyama. He's been finishing well at the cup. Got to give him credit. Josh Hart, he's been playing like a dog. Got to give him his credit. Stephon Castle, got to create better. He's got to create better. That last sequence that everybody's talking about in Game 2, that was not on Stephon Castle. Wembanyama should have held that ball in terms of just brought it up the court. You either dish it immediately or you bring it up. But as soon as somebody turns their back, he's not looking for you anymore. He was looking to get the outlet pass, didn't get it. He's running down the floor, running the fast break. You can see on the replay, Jalen Brunson, he's probably, it's like a damn Christmas present. He couldn't believe it. His eyes open up so wide, it's like saucers. But definitely the Spurs, they're looking really young right now. That coach, Mitch Johnson, he's got to make adjustments. He's got to do something to where they're either sending a second man, not for Karl Anthony Towns, but when Jalen Brunson is doing his thing, send a second man, try to do what the Pacers did. It's not really working too much, or it's not going to work too much because Mike Brown did a good job of cleaning that up this year. They're not overly reliant upon one player. However, you got to do something to just shake them up. Or, you try and bait Brunson into trying to be a hero and win an award. If you guys can do that, the Spurs have a shot. The Spurs have been in both games. The Knicks did not play well in Game 2, and they still won. So, we'll see. These Knicks, definitely a bunch of veteran players. The youth is really showing on San Antonio right now. It actually makes me wonder how the Thunder would have done against the Knicks. Because Chet Holmgren, I'm wondering how he would have done playing against Karl Anthony Towns, this version of Karl Anthony Towns. The Minnesota version and the first year or two of Knicks version, Karl Anthony Towns, I'm not really worried about that. This version right here, this playoffs in particular, I got to give him his credit. He's showing up like a grown man. He's playing real ball. And we're finally seeing, Big Cat show up and not Kitty Cat. So shout out to him. And we'll see. All right. As usual, don't be mad at me. Be mad at yourself. We got more videos coming soon. I'm going to be more consistent. Had to get some things in order. All right. Peace.